Hello, Tiki. We are Group 11, and our group has 5 members: Khanh, Nguyen, Tuan, Khoi, Xuan, Yến, and Thanh. Our case study is about Tiki. The purpose of this presentation is to show how Tiki applied design thinking to successfully switch from B2C to B2B2C model. Our presentation is divided into two main parts: introduction and the analysis of design thinking on Tiki case. First of all, I will start with the introduction. What is Tiki? Tiki stands for Tìm kiếm and Tiki. It was founded in 2010 by Mr. Trần Ngọc Thái Sơn with initial capital of $5,000. And its vision is to develop to become the most trusted e-commerce website in Vietnam. And with the mission of bringing the best online shopping experience for the customer. The next slide is a brief timeline of Tiki development with two highlight milestones. In 2016, after 6 years of establishment, Tiki became the second largest e-commerce company in Vietnam. Then in 2017, they decided to change their business model from B2C to the marketplace. And now I would like to explain what B2C and B2B2C mean. B2C stands for business to customer and refers to business that sell their products or their service directly to the customer, while B2B2C, or we can call it marketplace, it stands for business to customer. It's a business model where company want to sell their products or their services in partnership with company to the customer. And the customer understand that they are buying a product or using a service from the company one. Why does a business switch from B2C to B2B2C model? Because it maximizes business opportunities and achieve scalable growth. And that's all about background information about Tiki. Now we move to the analysis of design thinking on Tiki case transition from B2C and B2B2C model. The first step in design thinking is empathize. Aside from the very popular books that always sell out, there are so many small group of customers who want to buy unpopular books, and the customer tend to buy those unpopular books on online bookstore because they are difficult to find in bookstores, physical bookstore. The customer who visited Tiki were not only interested in purchasing books and stationery, but they also want to buy other items. But Tiki at that time, they just only sell books and stationeries. Online shopping was very popular from 2010 to 2017 in Vietnam. However, the customer are still hesitant about shopping online because they are not sure about the product and the delivery service. But at that time, Tiki has already left a good impression on the customer due to the high quality products and the delivery service.
So after empathizing with the customer, here Tiki find that their customers are English book readers, and so they have some problems. The first one is that in 2010, English book readers need a market of English book in Vietnam for entertainment and academia. So here in 2010, the e-commerce is not well developed and English books are still rare in a marketplace. So the demand is high and it is difficult to find English books, and they define the second problem, and is that English book readers here are the customer. They needed more book options and selections than those in physical bookstore. So here I put an image of a bookstore from Saigon local tour, and you can see that here in the bookstore we need bookshelves, we need corridors so that the customer can walk around and visit the place. And they also build second floor so that they can store more books. So the problem with the physical space is that the space to store books are limited, and so the physical space limits the number of books, and the English books are even rare in those physical space and physical bookstores. So how did Tiki come up with ideas to solve this solution?
So looking at the ideation of Tiki, we have the three main problems, the three main ideas they raised. First, why books and English book readers? Second, how does Tiki aim to solve the constraints of inventory risk and fun? And then lastly, we want to see at how Tiki aims to improve the availability and accessibility to English book readers and different goods for the customers. So the first idea is books and English book readers. So why Tiki chooses English book readers as its target customers is that English book readers at the time, they was higher educated, which means that they're going to be more adaptive to the changes that Tiki going to make in the future. And then they look at selling books and they ask the question, books and what else? So they sell books and now they ask the question, why don't they sell notebooks? And then notebooks and then pen, erasers, and so on. And they also see the constraints of small retailers is that they cannot sell everything. Fahasa, they only sell books. Thế giới di động, they only sell electronics. BT only sell shoes. And here we have a guy like Tiki, Mr. of everything. And then the second idea is to aim to solve the constraints of inventory risk and fun. Talking about inventory risk is that you see that there are some very low selling books on the market. So Tiki cannot store those books forever. So what they do is that they partner up with the sellers who sell only those special products, and they target on a very small number of buyers. And with partnering up with other sellers, they got to maintain the quality, and Tiki ensures that the seller follow Tiki's policies. And also talking about fun, they got to aim to reduce the storage cost. So the idea was to move the storage further to the rural areas to reduce the renting costs, which means it's going to be less expensive per product. Thirdly, we want to look at how Tiki aim to improve the customer selections and accessibility. So talking about selections, if you want more selection, you got to reduce the cost in order to have more goods. So first, they move the storage outside so they have more storage space, which means that more goods can be stored. And then they also have all the sellers store and manage their own goods without sending to Tiki storage. And then the accessibility is that they're gonna let small sellers with different range of products can all sell through Tiki's platforms. You look at guys like Samsung, Sony, they can all have their stores up on Tiki, not just Tiki alone selling books. And now we're gonna look at their prototypes.
So as mentioned, there are so many ideas. However, how do they connect them with each other in order to form an entire system? So we explored their first idea, which is to create a library. So first of all, let's explore its features. So the first feature of this is that products are sold are related to books. These include things that are within the library, including search engines, computers, pens, and notebooks. The second feature is that all products are distributed and sold by Tiki. And the third feature is that all products are displayed via the main interactive digital marketing platform. So these are the methods of testing of this first prototype. They expanded the number of goods that can be sold through the sales contact, and they increased the size of the warehouse storages. And just as Nguyen said, they moved those storages to the rural area so as to decrease the cost and increase the size of the book storage. So what are the results of this testing? Well, it's rather mixed, which is why we say that Tiki, they fail fast and they learn fast. So there are some positive things that can be taken from this implementation of this model. The first thing is that the revenue of sales increased by about 30 to 40%, which is a very good note. The quality of delivery, which has been known to be Tiki's trademark, was maintained. However, there were some critical concerns that needed to be taken into account. First of all, Tiki cannot access the low demand goods as defined in one of the problems. Tiki storage, due to a large need to please the demands, their storage becomes full. And most important of all, the consumer, they continually demand for more products. So not just books, not just electronic products or search engines, but they now demand for even more. They demand for smartphones, for example. These are the goods that Tiki don't have in their stocks in order to sell to their customers. So there are lots of things to be learned from this testing. What are they? So we learned that, first of all, Tiki being the only distributor limits the amount of goods or the variety of goods, rather, that they can sell. They also need multiple storage sites, seeing that the demand rises very high. And finally, we see that through all of these implementation and by failing fast, Tiki implement this prototype called Imagining the Future. This tool basically develops a vision of how the problem is solved, create a vision of what needs to be marketed in the future, make sure that the identified vision solves the needs and problems of the users, and design the transition from problem exploration to problem solution. With that in mind, they come up with the second model. What is it? That is exactly what they are implementing now, the model of the marketplace. There are 4 important features to be taken in mind. First of all, a variety of goods are being sold and purchased. The second feature is that Tiki, they sign contract with various retailers instead of only working on their own. The third feature is that products sold come from various warehouses, not just the warehouse that Tiki owns. And finally, a wide range of shippers are located for areas for faster delivery. So with these in mind, with the second model, let's see how they tested. Of course, because this is a rather more sophisticated model, we need a more sophisticated method of testing. So here are the testing methods. Tiki, they don't formally announce the change in the model, but rather they launch a notice sign in their interactive digital marketing channel about the distributor. They signed the contract with the first retailers and only diversify their products to products linked to the people's lives. So not yet all the sorts of products. They tested the extension in their digital marketing channel, and for the first 3 months, the number of shippers gradually rose. The shippers, they receive the orders from the consumers, locate the warehouse, and deliver them to the consumers. Keeping all of that in mind, they still maintain the same quality control protocol. So with all of those testing, let's see if the results are more promising. And indeed they are. We see that due to this implementation, there is a sharp increase in the number of consumers, particularly women from 24 to 30 years old. This suggests that this model can target the main group that does online shopping. We also see a drastic increase in revenue and profits in these 3 months of being implemented, which is a very, very good sign. And only a few concerns regarding the origin of the goods are being raised, but not by much. So we see how this model can be implemented by Tiki for the years to come.
From this presentation, we see how Tiki apply design thinking to their model. They empathize with customer needs on good product quality, fast, easy to find, wide range of selections, define their problems, which is the need for more English book to select than those in bookstore. Came up with ideas which are how does Tiki aim to solve the constraint of inventory risk and found? How do they aim to improve the availability and accessibility of different goods for their customer? And finally, manage to fail fast and learn from their mistake and achieve triumphant results. So here is our list of reference.